Is this distracting with my shirt flopping around like crazy?
I can't see. It's booting up.
Okay.
And the question is, does it say we're live anywhere? There it is. Now I see it.
I do believe we're live.
Why is our picture not moving? Oh, man. I kind of hate electronics. I'm like, kind of about to smash everything. Um, Let me know if you guys can hear me. We're having tech issues, perhaps because of the storm. I don't fucking know. So sorry about the last minute switch. I hope you guys can hear me because it really looks delayed. Pat,
Hello.
what you look like you're up to something. What?
I'm just pulling up the channel to see so I can read the comments during the show.
There aren't any yet. It says there's 3 people watching, so if you guys can hear us okay, please comment. A lot of people are saying their interwebs is down and everything from the storm. Okay, great, Michelle. Thank you so much. Pat, say something.
Hello.
Say hi to Michelle. She kicks ass.
Hey, Michelle. I'm still trying to find the channel here. Give me a second. And pardon the ruffling shirt. I look like I'm at the beach, but it's like 1,000 degrees in my apartment. So I have the fan like 2 feet away from me here.
It's actually pretty Fabio-ish. It's
Excellent.
like, look at me. Oh my God. I'm just so hot. My shirt is glowing.
I can't believe it's not butter. That's for the old folks. Nobody else knows what the hell we're talking about here.
Do you remember, this is like, this is so random, but do you remember when Fabio was on the roller coaster and a bird flew into his nose and it broke his nose and blood was pouring out of it?
No, I do not, but I would love to watch that video for some reason.
It's kind of amazing. As jacked up as it is. So anyway, as always, there is quite a bit of news with the Dems and all the other fun stuff. You there, Pat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you wanted to talk a little bit about MPP. I had Nick Brana on my show on Friday. So Pat wanted to talk a little bit about Movement for a People's Party and their huge convention that is going to be on Sunday. So take it away, Pat.
Yeah, well, I don't have an official plug. I just wanted to announce who's going to be speaking there. And I really believe in MPP. I mean, I'm going to vote green this time around, which isn't for everybody, and they're not going to win. Don't fool yourself. It's kind of a protest vote. I also live in California, so it's kind of irrelevant. We're going to go to Biden. But the point of MPP is looking past 2020, and they're on the verge of having, by 2024, they have plans to have their candidate in place in all 50 states. Something the Green Party has been working on for 100 years and hasn't been able to do. But I really believe MPP can do it. So this Sunday they're having a convention, and they have some pretty big heavy hitters. Something that's been missing, as much as I like what Nick Brown has tried to do with MPP, they didn't have this last time around. They didn't have the gravitas they do this time. So this time around, they've got Nina Turner, Dr. Cornel West, Mike Gravel, Jimmy Dore is going to be speaking on Sunday. Ryan Knight, who is a proud socialist, a former centrist who saw the light. Marianne Williamson, and they just added Danny Glover today, I believe. So I really hope people tune in for that. That's 4 o'clock in Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific, and listen to what they have to say. They aren't anti-green, they're not anti-Dem necessarily. They're looking to get everyone united for a new party post 2020, so that we can actually take on the Democrats. And I really think electorally they're our best shot. I don't see anyone else. I don't see Greens suddenly waking up and getting organized in a way they haven't been for the last 20 years. And Nina Turner, she formed Our Revolution, went around the country like crazy, turned that from nothing into a huge political force overnight, practically. I mean, not overnight because she put in the work, but I mean, in a short matter of time, a decent amount of our Rev candidates actually won. And even when they didn't win, that was grassroots organizing at its finest. And that's what we're going to need, So I think they can actually get a candidate on the ballot everywhere. So they have my support. Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend my discussion with Nick on Friday. We had a really good in-depth discussion about, how they anticipate getting on the ballots and how they're going to find candidates, things like this. Because I love the concept and I fully support it, but I wanted to know more about the actual logistics of it. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to have that discussion with him. I definitely am excited for Sunday to watch all these, incredible people talk about, hopefully a new kind of future. I don't necessarily think we'll have an MPP president anytime soon, at least, but the fact of the matter is that, you can run candidates at all levels with, on MPP. And, it's something I learned in, interviewing almost 200 candidates from across the country since 2018. I've learned that so many states have different rules. And a lot of states have way more parties than, like, say, I do in Pennsylvania. Even Pat, you guys in California, you have like, not just independent, but you have, other ones and not affiliated, things like that. So MPP will not be as difficult to get on some of these ballots. Furthermore, some states do not require the X amount of signatures and things like that to get third-party candidates on the ballot. So I look forward to it. I think that it's promising. I think that if there ever were a time that people need something new, they fucked around, they're going to find out. I am pretty sure that time is now.
Amen, 100%. And I was speaking with someone in MPP that I don't want to name, but they think by 2022, the midterms, they'll have almost 40 states ballot access. So that's the mid goal somewhat.
That's what Nick said on my show as well. And we as burners, I still refer to us as burners because that's kind of like how we all got our start in a way, how we all connected anyway. And, so we as a movement have proven that we are grassroots. And if we want something, you better believe we will push to make it happen. So, I think it's kind of imperative that, um, people do, kind of after this election, kind of decide what do we want to do, because you are correct. The Greens are just not organized. They're not. I mean, and I voted Green. You voted Green. It's not, um, that we dislike them or anything like that. It's just they haven't been able to get organized. So I'm hoping that perhaps MPP can be, that thing that actually is cohesive.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And having seen Nina go around the country, and I went to 2 of her events for our revolution, and push the down ballot candidates and grow the grassroots movement. You know, it really works, but you need some firepower to make that happen. And the Greens just have not had that on the same level that MPP has overnight at this point.
I agree. Another show I will recommend that I've done is Angela Walker, who's the Green VP. I had her on about a month ago, and holy crap, I
I love her.
love that woman.
Yeah.
She's a powerhouse. Like, she is an absolute powerhouse. Gonna be straight up honest, not a fan of Howie Hawkins at all, but I am a fan of Angela, and I am a fan of having a strong, brilliant African American VP. And I ain't talking about Kamala.
Ouch.
Um, Something else we were going to talk about that I saw today that oh my God. You can, like, being co-authors of a parody book, you would think nothing would really shock us, but holy shit. So I'm texting Pat this screenshot of, Pelosi doesn't want Biden to debate Trump. And in one way, I'm thinking, well, that's actually the smartest thing, because he can't open his mouth without being racist, sexist, stupid, whatever. But then I realized it was in reference to Trump actually saying that he wanted Biden and himself to do drug tests before the debate. To do fucking drug tests.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, next we're going to have the draw clock mental test. I mean,
I'm okay with that.
I think you should. I mean, look, you're going to drug test everyone in the world, but not the most powerful person. So yeah, let's drug test. Let's go.
I mean, I don't want to sound ableist, but like, this shit's freaking ridiculous. I mean, I didn't watch the RNC convention. I didn't watch the DNC one either, even Bernie. I just can't. I'm too damn depressed as it is. I ain't trying to do that shit to myself. But everyone was talking about, oh, Trump seemed like he snorts coke or something, like he was high. And that's why I'm like, oh, okay, so he literally wants to do drug tests with Biden as well. But with Biden, you're not going to find anything like coke or anything like that. It's going to be like dementia meds or something like that.
Oh, there's no doubt it will be. I mean, we know that there's something cognitively a little off there. There's no question. So yeah, I mean, politically, Trump's smart to go there. And as to the general argument about skipping the debate, I mean, the big problem there is ultimately you have to have a debate. You can have all this bluster about how it's not worth debating Trump and stooping to his level, but it just looks weak when you make that argument and then cave to having the debate. I mean, ultimately you have to appeal to independents, which are undecided voters. If you're not trying to get undecided voters, what are you doing? So you have to debate. You have to. So this talk about, with all these Democratic leaders and political pundits coming out and trying to spin that it's okay that that Biden doesn't debate, well, they're all going to cave and he's going to debate. There's no world where Biden doesn't debate. So then you've set yourself up to look weak, which is just classic Dem strategist, terrible move.
Yeah. Well, also, the thing is they're making excuses and rationalizations that, oh, well, the way it is he's just saying that he's not going to stoop to Trump's level to debate him. Listen, that's a bunch of bullshit, because if you're trying to act like he's like, going high or whatever you want to say, lack of a better term, maybe you should think about if Trump was the one that was backing out, you would be making fun of him so bad. You would be trashing him, calling him a wimp, calling him pathetic, all this shit. But because it's Biden, it's like, oh, he's just too respectable to go in there. Nah, dude, the thing is, go in there and show you're strong. Go in there and be like, you're a piece of shit, and take him on. Bernie challenged Trump to a debate. Trump agreed and Trump backed out. That's who the nominee should be. Someone Trump is scared to go up against. Biden is scared to go up against Trump, and that's weak.
It is. And it's also, the idea that you're going to run your campaign focused on people already supporting you. Like you're not going to win over Republicans by not debating Trump. You're not going to win over independents. All you're doing is catering to your base by saying, "Oh, we're not as bad as that guy." Well, you need to prove you're not as bad as that guy. I mean, it's in my opinion, anyone who ever runs an election and refuses to debate, I don't care if they're on my team or the other team, you should be out. This is a basic tenet of elections. Debate your opponent, period. End of story. Any other argument is weakness on your part in your campaign. Like Pelosi refusing to debate Shahid. Debate, period. End of story. You don't debate, you lose.
Absolutely. And so many of us swore this shit was going to happen. And, we were like, he'll probably blame it on COVID. I'm not sure what he's going to blame it on, but something's going to happen. But I don't know what happened, what drug they gave him, but some of the debates, Joe was like, especially at the end, Joe was like coherent. So I'm not sure what went on there, but it's almost like they have a way to make him be coherent for an hour or two. I'm not sure. That was a few months ago.
But there's no doubt they do. I mean, you cannot look at how he behaved, 9 months on the campaign trail versus every moment in the debate. He was 10 times sharper every debate than he ever was on the campaign trail. Just no question.
Which begs the question then, why wouldn't he debate?
He will debate is the thing. I think Dem strategists are the worst. Like if you plot out the worst moves they could make, that's usually what the Democrats will do. Like, they picked Kamala Harris. I mean, that's why I knew they were going to pick Kamala Harris, because I knew she was the worst option. It's just what they do. But they seem to think spinning this strategy hurts Trump because it portrays him as so below the pale that he's not worth debating. But even they know that ultimately they're going to have to debate him. I mean, there might be this trial thing. Can we make this stick? But they can't realistically think skipping the debates is a position that will stick in 2 months or a month from now. There's just no way. They've been in the game too long. So it's a strategy on their part to say this stuff, even though they know they're going to have to debate it. But it ultimately makes him look incredibly weak.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's really pathetic to watch. The way that people try to excuse it and everything. again, I don't want to be ableist because I know Joe says he has a problem with stuttering. Granted, I never saw it until recently, but if that's true, so be it. But, you know, Donald Trump is a lot of things. He's garbage. He's a dumpster fire. He is a piece of shit. But one thing he's not is someone who's going to get like, that's not going to happen with Trump. And Joe knows that. And Joe gets frazzled very easily. Like we've seen him do the would you why, you know, and things like that. And he gets very, you know, you dog faced pony soldier. He gets insulting. He calls names. You know, he puts his hands on people. And that is not a demeanor you bring to a debate. And the way Trump would push his buttons, that would come out. And Biden only makes himself look like more of a dumbass because he said stuff like, I'm going to beat Trump like a drum. Are you?
Well, yeah. Well, people forget when Joe first got in the race, he was talking about fighting Trump behind the bleachers.
Absolutely.
And that really played terribly with even, you know, shit-lived centrist Democrats did not like hearing old Joe Biden and old Trump, you know, not the old, that's probably irrelevant, but just the leader. Like when Joe tried to go to the same level with Trump, it was a worse look for Trump than it was for Trump. I mean, worse look for Joe than it was for Trump by a long shot. So, you know, the confrontation, we haven't seen Biden confronted in a way that he will be against Trump. You know, the Democratic debates, it was soft gloves, even from the people attacking him. It was like a show of respect and then the attack. And that's not obviously going to happen with Trump. Trump's going to, you know, be as crude as possible and as shocking as possible and insulting as possible. And Biden hasn't shown any examples to point to say he's going to handle that well or win that argument.
Absolutely. And, you know, let's be honest, Biden has issues even reading cue cards. I don't know how he would do without cue cards because he'll sit there and be like, you know, just like motioning to make the cue cards higher and like stumbling while he's trying to read them. And, you know, the thing. And, you know, so having him without cue cards at all, that's going to be pretty intense because a debate is not always sticking to the questions that you're asked. Trump would throw many curveballs and he would be obligated to show he's on his feet. And that wouldn't happen.
But you also have to assume that the media will be on Biden's side and cater to, they will do their best to, you know, soften the blows, maybe avoid Biden even responding to some of these things. I mean, people make the argument that the press is all in it for the ratings and the back and forth fights. But that's in the primaries. I mean, that in the general, they're gonna lobby for Biden and they're gonna fight harder for Biden than, you know, than we expect. They're gonna try to protect him. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but we've seen it before. They, you know, what the media did with Bernie and.
You bet. Do you think, see, now my viewers know from day one, I've never changed my opinion. I still think it is possible as fuck that Trump is going to win. I will feel that way till the last day. I think that he's unfortunately stronger than he even was in 2016. And I think that people are in for a very rude awakening if they think that's not the case. What are your thoughts? Have they changed? Do you still think that it's Joe that he's going to win because of COVID, or what are your thoughts now?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a total coin toss. I mean, you would think in any other world, with the country being as bad as it is, with the COVID response being as bad as it is, that Trump would be, behind by 50 points. But he's a toss up in the swing states right now, and that's before the debates. That's before people learn Biden's record, and everybody knows Trump's record. They're like, tomorrow nothing's going to come out new about Trump. You're going to go, oh my God, that, and if it does, you're just going to add it to the list. So the people that support him, no one's going to not support him who's already diehard in his camp. I mean, there's a chance because of COVID that some people will. I will step back a second on that, because COVID is the exception. COVID is like, hey, I lost my job because of Trump's terrible response, and now it hit home. COVID is, my uncle died because of COVID and Trump's bad response, so now it hits home. So, what you've got at play is another 67 or however many days it is until election day, versus how much we learn about Joe Biden and what the people in the middle, the independents and the undecideds make of all that. So, I still think, regardless of everything, my gut tells me that things will be so bad by election day, and we'll just have more fatigue from the lack of response to COVID and seeing the other countries doing better, that I think Biden will probably pull it off, even if he, shit himself on TV. I mean, honestly, I think people, people can probably learn a lot about Biden and not really care, because you're just voting against the other guy, which is exactly what 2016 was. 2016 was, who do you hate the most? Both candidates were the least popular candidates their parties had ever put forward. And all signs are that these two will be even worse by the end of 2020. So, I give a slight edge to Biden still, but it could easily go the other way. I would not, there's no world where I'm shocked when Trump wins again.
Yeah. Hey, Charles. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're already setting it up like they know they might lose. They're doing Russia, they're doing the post office boxes. Is that, is the post office a huge issue? Abso-freaking-lutely. But the way that they're addressing it shows that they are absolutely, trying to cover their asses in case they lose. I feel like even if Biden does pull this out, we are still going to have years of vote shaming because he didn't get 100% of the freaking vote. Like, he will have to get every freaking vote in the entire United States for us not to get vote shamed. But also, the thing about Biden is well, let me put it this way. States have it so convoluted, the way that you have to request a ballot. You have to then, go through this big process to even get a ballot to vote. If they wanted to incentivize people voting, if they wanted big numbers of voting, they would literally just send that piece of paper to every freaking person who is registered to vote. It doesn't matter what party you are in, the general or anything like that. Rather than having people submit requests and all that manpower and all that, it's garbage. And let's face it, people are lazy. And if you tell them, go to this website to request a ballot, a lot of times they're not going to do that.
Right. I mean, it really should be, part of, like California included it when you register, get your driver's license. Anything at the DMV is always asked, do you want to register to vote? You have the opportunity there to switch your party and all that stuff. I mean, it should be the easiest thing in the world to do. And with the internet, I mean, it's ridiculous that there shouldn't be no hoops to voting, none whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Voting should be more secure than banking. I mean, can we make it as secure? I mean, it's ridiculous that we haven't managed to make voting as secure as banking with a credit card. You know, it's silly. Like, we can't trust elections.
Yeah, absolutely. Something Biden said today that kind of pissed me off, but I wasn't surprised at all, was he said that I am against all forms of violence, including looting.
Yeah, I mean, relating looting to, the murder of innocent Black people is just, you got to separate those issues, and that's the thing that a lot of these Democratic leaders aren't. They come out with a statement against all of it, like they're trying to appeal to a Blue Lives Matter crowd at all points, which, we're not. You should position yourself as better than that, and your argument should be, I side with people before property, period. So looting is not violence. Looting is a crime, but it's not violence. It's not death. It's not murder. It has no similarity. And anyone that doesn't separate those issues out is morally bankrupt to me.
Well, that's the thing. It reminded me, quite honestly, of when, Trump said both sides, blah, 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 because I'm like, how the hell is looting? I mean, we're dealing with a dude who literally shot 3 people a day ago. And, we'll get to that, but how are you conflating those things? That is a gross, even attempt at comparison.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the problem. I mean, Biden is a mess. Biden is trying to both sides this campaign. You I mean, everybody probably knows by now, but Biden wrote the crime bill, authored the Patriot Act, militarized the police under Obama, uh, fought the war on drugs, the 3 strikes rules. He lobbied for all this stuff. He's not the guy for this moment, but Democrats and people that hate Trump are stuck with him. But to double down on that, they picked Kamala Harris, who called herself the top cop, California's top cop. So, you've got that duo up here when the whole world is in the streets fighting for criminal justice reform, and those are your two. It's a mess, but they're still trying to cater to get Republican votes instead of siding with progressives and trying to expand the reach on the left. They're going to the right. Now, what they're doing is they're losing the voters on the left and not getting the voters on the right, which is predictable. That's just how it's going to work. And that's why they could lose.
Absolutely. And going back to Kenosha, so the 17-year-old, they did find him in a first row at a Trump rally. He loves his guns. It wasn't even legal for him to have a gun at 17. They are saying no. But I mean, there is video of him clearly committing murder. There is no question about it. And the most haunting thing, not just watching him murder people, but the one of the hardest things to stomach is seeing this murderer walking towards countless police officers while holding a loaded gun, them knowing he literally had just shot people, and them letting him continue walking by. I have never seen such a thing. It is absolutely mind blowing. And then the day before, you have a Black dude get shot 7 times in the back. What? It's just absolutely incredible. This kid was walking towards the police with a loaded gun, having just shot people.
Well, unfortunately, all these events blur together so much, and they happen so commonly that I can't even remember the names of some of the incidents. But I mean, you do have a lot of examples of white shooters turning themselves into the police with their guns on them after the entire police force knows someone shot up a school and then just walked up to the police and turned themselves in. I mean, the shooting where the guy shot the car. I can't even remember. I mean, I'm so numb to all this stuff. It happens so often that it's just disgusting. But you will never see a Black person shoot up an event and then not die or get shot. I mean, the idea that a Black person could do something like that and then walk up to the police with their gun in hand and turn themselves in. I mean, we really have a racist police force, period.
Absolutely. And then, that the video clip came out of the police saying to the, friggin' alt-right garbage fires, saying, here's some bottles of water. We appreciate you coming out tonight. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, well, there was a photo of one of the events a few days ago where you could see the police force all lined up between the two sides of the streets, and you had the BLM people on one side, and then the All Lives Matter on the other side, which was full of like actual Nazis, and the entire police force is turned facing the BLM protesters. So that you got a whole line of people in the middle of the street facing the BLM people. So I mean, it's clear to most people what's going on here, but it has to end, obviously. I mean, it's absurd. So it's a clear position Democrats should take. You shouldn't both sides this, and for all the both sidesiness we made about Trump in 2016, correctly so, it was disgusting. We should be taking a firmer stand than this, like, going after looters argument, or, Joe Biden wanting to increase the funding of the police, like, no, defund, start, even if you don't want to make the defund argument, if you're Biden, you should talk about, you should make their argument without using the language defund. You should be saying, let's look to offset some of the police's duties to other departments. You can say that without saying defund, if you're trying to appeal to the right. But he can't even do that because he wants to appeal to the right. He's not trying to even get votes on the left.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's so infuriating is anytime a Black person is killed, within seconds, you will see people going through their Facebooks, their Twitters, their YouTubes. Oh, they used to do porn. They used to smoke pot. Oh my God, this girl looked like something and they dated her. And I mean, within seconds. Dude, the 17-year-old who just killed, people 2 days ago, the alt-right released a picture of him painting over spray paint that like looters had done. And they were like, here he is right before he went to the protest. Oh, that's just great. He painted over graffiti, and that's supposed to negate the fact that he shot people? And it's so disgusting to watch the way that they bend over backwards to try and excuse white people and then demonize Black people.
I mean, anyone that's going to go to a protest event, it's fine if you don't agree with the protesters, but when you go there against what they stand for, armed, that's, I don't want to say premeditated violence, but like, why are you there? What do you expect to happen? I mean, it's clear in all circumstances that nothing good is going to come from you. You're not going to be a hero with your gun at an event like that. it's just bad news. And obviously the kid's a bad guy, 17, but he'll be tried as an adult. I mean, 2 people are dead, one's in the hospital. I, all this stuff is so depressing lately. Like, you know, I try to do humor ish for a living. I mean, not for a living, but it's really difficult. I mean, this stuff really angers me. Like, it's so shocking to see how many people that don't get that the Democrats need to take a different position on this. Like, the whole world is in the streets, and you got the Democrats acting like voting for Biden is going to fix it all. And it's not at all. And we all know that. But progressives all know it's not going to fix any of this shit.
That's the one of the good things that Biden does win is going to be, all of the shit libs with cognitive dissonance, having to acknowledge the fact that not a damn thing has changed.
No, I mean, the guy, he increase the police budget. I mean, that's his fix for this, right? I mean, better training and increased police budget. Well, that's what the Republicans would say. I mean, how's that different than what the Republican response to this event? And this, just get out and vote thing. Well, half the Democrats, half the cities where all these protests are happening have a Democratic governor, a Democratic mayor, a Democratic police chief. I mean, the response to the protests and the response to the police brutality is bipartisan, and it's not happening because of Republicans. It's happening because of a racist police force that both parties have enabled.
Yeah, and if we've learned anything in the past 5 years, it's that electoral politics is not going to help anything. Like, we tried that. Yes, still vote for progressives, still, phone bank for progressives, things like that. But simply saying vote means nothing. We have to
don't protest, vote. Who was that? Like, don't protest, vote. Are you fucking kidding?
Don't boo, vote. Bitch, we tried to vote and you took our votes. Now what? We tried. That is so damn privileged. I hate that shit. It's not that easy. Just go pull a lever once every 2 years and everything magically is fixed.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. I agree. It's so disgusting.
It's so gross. I wasn't calling you bitch, by the way, Pat. I do sometimes, but that time I wasn't.
No comment.
So, what's that?
No comment whatsoever.
Love you. Okay, so the next thing is I sent you Alyssa Shalano's tweet from yesterday. It's literally a thread of why Joe Biden is going to be good for Black people and for women. Bust that out, Pat. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could read some of it, but like I gave up on it so quickly. I mean, I did read them all, but it's just garbage. I mean, of course, Biden's going to be better than Trump on this shit, but he's going to be the same guy. And it's the hypocrisy of this coming from Alyssa, who abandoned the Me Too movement the exact moment there were accusers against Biden, is just amazing. But I'll read the first one, and then, if you're a sadist, you can go find her on Twitter and read the next 20 or however many. Let's see. So Alyssa Milano, on #Women's Equality Day, I'd like to remind you all the ways Trump has failed women and made life more dangerous for us, and how Biden will be a champion for us. And then yada, yada, yada. That's all I got, because I can't fucking read it right now. It's just.
Pat, you're fucking sexist.
Yes, thank you. I mean, come on. Yes, he, Biden will be better than Trump on this stuff, but like covering up Biden's record is not the way to fix these issues on anything, whether it be, misogyny, whether it's whatever, the racial justice stuff. Like, if you want to fix these issues, you need to keep his record on this stuff front, in people's face. You need to not lie about who Biden is. You need to not pretend that Biden didn't have 8 accusers uh, come forward about sexual, not assault, but sexual inappropriate behavior. Um, you know, this stuff needs to be not covered up, because that only leads to putting the problem on the back burner, not like.
Well, since you're being stubborn, I gotta read a few of them for you.
Good.
Okay. So Alyssa says, on this Women's Equality Day, I'd like to share all the great ways the Biden administration will fight for women and girls. Keep reading for the good news. Help is on its way. Women, and particularly women of color, have never had a fair shot to get ahead. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris build our country back better after this economic crisis, they will ensure we get closer to full inclusion of equality for women. Joe will expand women's access to health care. Joe stood with President Obama to pass Obamacare. He'll protect and build on Obamacare to expand access and lower costs, including by offering all women the choice of a new public option. He backed away from that, so check yourself. As president, Joe will provide universal access to high quality preschool for all 3 and 4 year olds and ensure no low income or middle class family with children under 5 has to pay more than 7% of their income. Hashtag Joe Mama. Not sure what the fuck that
What was the Joe Mama hashtag?
Hashtag JOEMAMA. I don't fucking know.
Joe Mama.
Joe will also provide access to community college.
Hey, Joy. I add a sound effect thing to my sidekick here where I make a ding every time you say access, because that's what's happening here. She's just like, access, ding, ding, ding.
It would be so awesome. It would be like a dance thing. Eventually it'd be like bing, 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 bing,
Yeah, I mean,
bing, bing, bing.
I'm looking at the tweet thread and she says it like 20 more times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Joe will be unflinching in confronting systemic racism, including by investing in trauma-informed prevention and treatment programs.
What is that? I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
Trauma-informed.
Joe will be a champion for the Equal Rights Amendment, ensuring that women and girls have protection enshrined in the Constitution. On this Women's Equality Day 2020, please text women to 303 303 I all I'm gonna say is that if you guys are offended and disgusted by Alyssa, as most people are, Pat and I co-wrote a parody book on the resistance, and she is one of our main characters. Her name is Alyssa Shilano, and she's a damn hot mess. And she says the same damn shit she says on her Twitter. So Pat, let's talk about our book. Let's talk about some other cool, some other great characters we have. We have Nira Tantrum, Joanne Greed. Who else we got? Nancy Pagosi, Tom Perez, Jennifer Poobin.
And don't forget James Scarville, which
James Scarville has some zingers.
which you know, it's funny, people don't remember who he is. Like younger people don't even know who he is. But back before Obama ran in 2008, he was like the biggest powerhouse pundit on TV. And he's literally married to a Republican pundit of the same stature. So that like is the symbol of, like, there's no better power couple to point out the problems in the party, that these two sleep in the same bed and are so diametrically opposed in public about these issues, but it's irrelevant to them at the end. So anyway, he came back into being a political pundit because they brought him out to attack Bernie at the last minute. But he was asleep, you know, dead like a, I don't know, he was in his coffin for like 10 years and they woke him.
He's the guy who looks like an alien. I know you guys know who he is. So we have him. We have 10 main characters, and one of them is Nina Burner. And we were on Nina's podcast, Hello Somebody, last week. And she loves the book. We sent her the digital copy because the books are being printed right now. And she loves it, and she thinks we did a great job on her character, which was what we, you know, that's what matters to us. But in honor of Queen Nina and just the powerhouse she is, if you guys buy our book, enter code Nina, Nina, you get $2 off. And also you can pick either Pat or myself to sign and give us the message you would like us to say. It gives it at least another quarter of worth by adding our signatures. And as I said, they are being printed right now independently, Amazon free. So I know, Michelle, I know you were one of our first orders. I can't wait till you read it. Pat, do you want to say anything? Ooh, since you're on my show with me, we should talk about something. No details yet, because we'll announce the details. But the 5th of September, which is a week from Saturday, Pat and I are going to have a book release party, and it has public figures, comedians, and musicians. And there are some freaking stellar ones that you guys are just gonna love it. It's gonna be so much fun. We cannot wait. So that is a week from Saturday on the 5th, and we will be releasing some of those names shortly. Yeah. Pat, do you have anything else to say?
Just that I'm really looking forward to the 5th. Like, so this book thing, you know, we're always looking for, look, we're just two schmucks on the internet. I wrote a parody book before, and Joy does her show, but we don't have any powerhouse way to promote this. So we came up with this event, and it's really not, the book isn't front and center. It's like a couple hours of just comedy and live music, and it's going to be really fun for progressives. Like, we have, I don't want to give the axe away, but we have like legitimate talent somehow coming and joining us for the show. And it's going to be like, I think it's going to be pretty damn fun. Like, yeah, I don't know. Until we have a name for the show and spread some stuff out, I don't want to say too much, but like tomorrow I'll probably put it on our website, so I can share a link about who's going to be going and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're so excited to announce some of these people, because the main thing is not just to have a book release party, but we really want to do it just to make people smile. Comedy and music is just, I don't know, the only thing we can think of to really try and pull people out of their sadness, even if it's for like 2 hours, that's really our goal. So not even just to promote the book, but just to make people smile, just to kind of have people get away from the darkness that so many of us are feeling. Um, so we'll be announcing that for sure. Um, what else you got, Pat? Anything you want to leave oh, before, definitely follow this channel. I'm going to be doing more on this channel. And I'm uploading over 300 previous shows on this channel. I already uploaded over 150 something. So I will be, kind of going live on this channel as well. So make sure you subscribe. Also, my Patreon, you can donate for as little as $3 a month. And I think that's it. What you got, Pat?
That's it. I mean, I'm glad you're. I hope people do join your Patreon because you need some tech support. You got a new mic already, thanks to people helping you out, and it makes a difference. And yeah, I love you, so I want to see you do well.
Thanks, Boo. I love you too, my literary BFF. Oh my god, it's funny because the video's delayed, so it looks like you rolled your eyes when you said you loved me, so that's like
I
completely
did.
accurate.
No, that's real. That's
Oh
real.
yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Are we still on camera? Jesus Christ. All right.
Well, thanks so much for watching, you guys. We will be with you next Thursday again for the this week's news with Savage and Pat. And Monday, I'm welcoming back a candidate who I had in 2018, Angelica Duenas. She has a Me Too story that's pretty intense. And she's a candidate in California. She's going to be speaking with me on Monday. So thank you all so much and have a great weekend. Much love.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.